Good morning, students. So today we'll discuss how to write symbols of the elements. So while discussing about the elements, I have shown you this periodic table. Okay. So it's very inconvenient every time to write the full spelling of the elements or the names of the elements. And in reactions, it is actually becomes very inconvenient while you are writing the chemical reactions. So this was creating a very big problem for the scientists. So they took out a way, and what was that way? They started using the short forms. Okay, so symbols were the short forms, or you can say abbreviations. Okay, suppose we use normally many abbreviations in our day-to-day life, like for a doctor, what we write? DR. Okay, for chief minister, we write CM, like this. Okay, so if somebody is a law graduate, then what we write? LLB. So like this, the scientists also took out this way. This is more convenient to write. Okay, so they have also started using short forms or abbreviations for writing the elements. Okay, so they also again they face the problem. What was the problem? There has to be one way which should be applicable to all, and everybody should know about the ways of writing the symbols. So what they have done, they have made few rules for writing the symbol of the element. Okay, so who had decided that? So this was decided by the Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry, or IUPAC. So what they have defined symbol as? A symbol of an element is one or two letters long and is chosen by the International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry. Okay, and this was used to denote elements. Okay, so these symbols were accepted throughout the world. Okay, and one symbol, like if we are writing C, that means one atom, okay, of that element. So which is this element? C stands for carbon. So what happens when I write C? That represents one atom of carbon. I hope you have understood this much. Now let's see the symbols of the elements. So some elements are represented by the first letter. So when you are writing the first letter, so some symbols, what is the first rule? Some symbols are represented by the first letter, and the letter is written in capitals. Okay, so first letter of name, and what is the name written in? Capital letters. So C stands for carbon. So we are using this C to represent one atom of carbon. Okay. Similarly, N stands for nitrogen. O stands for oxygen, like that. But what about calcium? It also starts with C. Then you see here sodium. It also starts with N, and nitrogen also starts with N. So again there is a problem. So what needs to be done? Then there is second rule. When there are more than one elements having names beginning with the same letters, then what happens? Then we use first two letters of their names, like in calcium. You can see. So, what is the second rule? When the first letter is common, we use first two letters. Okay, like calcium and carbon. Both are starting from C. So, we'll use the first two letters for writing the symbol according to the second rule. And the first letter, the C, will be in capital, and A, this will be in small letters of alphabets. Okay? Okay? That means the capital letter will be uppercase letter, and the second one will be in the lowercase or small letters as we say normally. Okay? Then, the symbols of the elements are also derived from their Latin names. What happened? So many elements starts from the name starts from the same letter, like you can say silicon, sodium, then sulfur. See here. So you can see here the elements, 4 elements start from the same letter. Okay, and there is a problem in using the first two letters also. See, if we will use the first letter, then the abbreviation will stand for the element carbon, Ca for calcium, again CO for cobalt. Then what about copper? So to overcome this problem, it was suggested to use the Latin name. Okay, so the Latin name of copper is cuprum. Okay, so this is the Latin name. So the Latin name of copper is cuprum. So the first two letters of the Latin name is used. So here, if you will see in your book, table 2.1, 2.2 and 2.3, here the different symbols are written which are derived from the first letter, first two letters and the Latin names. And this clarifies the all three rules. Now we will see compounds. So, you can see this is sodium chloride or common salt. Okay, we use many compounds in our day-to-day life. All of you are familiar with water. See, yeah, this is water. Do you know water is a compound? Till now, we were reading about the elements. Now we will start reading about compounds. What are compounds? How they are formed? And you know that we use so many different kinds of compounds in our day-to-day life. Yes, the salt which you use in your home is a compound. The baking powder used for making cakes, then sugar, then glucose, even the carbon dioxide which we exhale are all compounds. Now let's see how these compounds are formed and what do we mean by compounds. See, yeah, this is water. Do you know water is a compound? Till now we were reading about the elements. Now we will start reading about compounds. What are compounds? How they are formed? And you know that we use so many different kinds of compounds in our day-to-day life. Yes, the salt which you use in your home is a compound. the baking powder used for making cakes, then sugar, then glucose, even the carbon dioxide which we exhale are all compounds. Now let's see how these compounds are formed and what do we mean by compounds. If you remember, when we were discussing about the atoms and the molecules, we have discussed that atoms cannot exist independently except the atoms of the noble gases. So, atoms combine to form molecules. So, there are two types of molecules. The molecules made up of atoms of the same kind, and the molecules, as you can see here, the two balls are of different colors, means made up of the atoms of different kind. So there may be single types of atoms, two atoms, or more than two atoms making a molecule. So we have also discussed that elements are made up of atoms of the same kind. Okay, so these atoms which are made up of different kinds of molecules, they make compounds or form compounds. So the elements have the tendency to combine with each other and form compound. Then what is a compound? So see, so a compound is a pure substance. What is a compound? It's a pure substance. That means it will have a uniform composition throughout, formed by the chemical combination. Okay, so these are combined chemically. So you cannot separate them by simple physical process. Okay, so formed by chemical combination of two or more elements, of two or more elements by in a definite proportion by mass. Okay. So when you will break the compound, so it again will divide into the elements which form the compound, like H2O. So two atoms of hydrogen and one atom of oxygen combine chemically to form H2O or water. Okay. So when you will break water, so again they will be or you can say these two elements you will get, that is hydrogen and oxygen. Okay. So some common compounds are given. So we'll in this table of 2.4, some common compounds are given. Then the characteristics of compounds and the difference between, take a break, and the rest part of the chapter which is in your syllabus, that is up to page number 24, we'll discuss tomorrow. So for today's class work, you will write the questions, what are symbols, write the rules of writing symbols, and you need to define compounds. This much you will do today.